So today, we're going to talk about something that's kind of like a silent epidemic. It's this force that just derails more dreams than failure ever could. And it's something we all struggle with, but very few of us really get how to beat it. We're talking about mastering the incredible power of focus. So let me just start with a question for you. What is it that silently, day in and day out, destroys millions of dreams? You know that feeling, right? That frustrating cycle where you're super motivated one day, then totally confused the next, and by day 3, you just feel completely lost. And look, the very first thing we have to get straight is this. It is not laziness. If you struggle with focus, it's not some kind of character flaw. Not at all. The real reasons, well, they go much, much deeper than that. What we're really getting at here is that feeling of having a scattered mind. You know the drill. You get dozens of brilliant ideas, you jump into multiple projects with all this energy, but very few of them, if any, ever actually make it to the finish line. That feeling right there, that's a lack of focus. All right, so let's dig a little deeper. Why do we actually fail to focus? It's really not as simple as you might think. And a huge part of the answer is found in the very world we've built all around ourselves. Okay, so reason number 1, we are absolutely wired for instant gratification. We want the success, we want the money, the happiness, and yeah, we want it delivered yesterday. But here's the tough truth. Real, meaningful success just doesn't work on an express schedule. It never has. Reason number 2, our brains are basically comfort-seeking missiles. They are hardwired to avoid anything that feels like pain and just take the easiest path possible. And let's be real, deep, powerful focus requires discipline. And discipline, it's uncomfortable. It's that act of pushing yourself forward when every single part of you is just screaming to go sit on the couch. And then there's the third big one, the comparison trap. We just endlessly scroll through these perfectly curated highlight reels of other people's lives. And that constant comparison, it works like a slow poison. It just eats away at our patience and completely shatters our ability to focus on our own path. So you put it all together and you've got this perfect storm, right? A craving for instant results, an addiction to comfort, and the poison of comparison. But the real anchor dragging us down, the thing that's really at the root of a wandering mind, is not having a clear life goal. When you don't know where you're going, pretty much every road looks appealing and your focus just scatters to the wind. So, how do we fight back against all this? Well, that brings us to the solution. And it all starts with an idea that sounds so simple it's almost deceptive. The power of choosing one. It all really boils down to this one single number. 1. If you genuinely want to master focus, the first, absolutely non-negotiable step is to choose. You have to commit to one thing. Not 2, not 3, just 1. And honestly, this is the exact spot where most people trip up. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The person who's always chasing everything, scattering their energy in a dozen different directions, they ultimately accomplish nothing of real substance. True power is found in concentrated focus. So I want you to just pause for a second and really ask yourself these questions. And be honest, what is the one skill you truly want to master? What is the one path you're willing to commit to? Through the good times and the bad. 5 years from now, what's that one single thing that would make you feel genuinely proud? The secret isn't choosing what's easy, it's choosing what you're willing to fight for when it gets hard. Okay, so once you've actually figured out your one thing, the next step is absolutely crucial. You have to protect it, fiercely. And that means you have to go head-to-head with the single biggest enemy of focus in the 21st century, digital distraction. Now, let's be crystal clear about something. The phone itself isn't the bad guy here. It's the uncontrolled use of it that is so incredibly destructive. Think about it. every buzz, every notification, every time you just mindlessly start scrolling. That's a direct hit against your ability to concentrate.
Okay, so it is time to take back control. Here's a super simple 3-step battle plan. First, kill all the notifications that aren't absolutely essential. Be ruthless about it. Second, when it's time for deep work, your phone goes into solitary confinement. Yeah, put it in another room. And third, start scheduling your social media time just like you would any other appointment. Don't let it just bleed into every free moment of your day.
Okay, so we've weeded the garden of all those distractions. Now it's time to actually plant the seeds. So how do we actively train our minds day after day and really transform them into these fortresses of focus?
You know, this right here is the golden rule of making any real progress. It's so easy to get seduced by the idea of these huge, heroic efforts, like pulling an all-nighter or going on some crash diet. But true, lasting change? That stuff is built brick by brick, one day at a time. Small, consistent actions will always beat those random bursts of intensity. So think of this as your daily workout for that focus muscle. Start every single day with a clear mission. Figure out your one single most important task. Then create a sacred space of silence, no distractions, and absolutely no multitasking. And when your mind inevitably starts to wander, just gently pull it back in by reminding yourself why you started this in the first place. Then at the end of the day, ask yourself one simple question. Did I take a step forward today? All right, let's go even deeper now. This is where we move past just the tips and tricks and get to the real heart of it all. We're talking about the 3 pillars of long-term focus and success: discipline, patience, and faith. And this is a game-changing distinction. See, most of us wait around for that lightning bolt of motivation to strike. We tell ourselves, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it. But the truly successful people, they operate on a totally different system. Discipline. They show up, they do the work because they made a commitment to do it whether they feel like it or not. That simple switch right there, it changes everything. Yeah, and you know, the source material for this makes a really good point. Effort alone isn't the whole picture. True success is really built on 3 things. First, there's your hard work, the daily grind. Second, there's patience, that deep understanding that real results take time to grow. And third, there's an element of faith or trust, a belief that your efforts are seen and that the results will come when the time is right. And honestly, if you take away just one thing, let it be this. This is both a promise and a challenge. Your entire life can actually transform the very moment you make that one critical decision, to pivot from a life of distraction to a life of focus. So that really just leaves us with one final question for you. Your future isn't some far-off thing. It's being built right now in the choices you're making today. So, what's it gonna be? A life of scattered potential or a life of focused power? The choice, as it always is yours.